Going everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to give you guys a look at the semi-finished project. I haven't posted a video on it in a while, but the 63 Nova. I've got a few other videos on it, so it's up and running and driving now, so let me give you guys a look. So 63 Nova sedan, two-door post. Got it out of Colorado, sitting out in the field basically. So the body's pretty much all the same. I haven't touched any of the body yet. The interior is the same. I haven't touched any of the interior. So it was pretty good shape. I did the steering column, gauges, shifter, and that was it on the inside. So I've got a few other videos of me doing this project, of starting it. This is a 383, it's a 350 stroker. And it was basically built before the car. So set it in here. We ended up getting a, I can't remember the brand now, but a corner killer suspension kit, rack and pinion, coilovers, and starting on trying to get the suspension and everything lined out. So we ended up having to make the inner fenders. I had to modify a lot of the frame rails. We had to modify the these tubular supports here to work with the inner fenders. We had to get them bent around. They used to come straight down in, so we bent them, modified them a little bit. And I originally had headers on this car, probably in one of the last videos. We ended up going back to exhaust manifolds because I just couldn't get a set of headers that was going to get along with the steering shaft here. But let's see if I can get down in here. So that steering shaft is pretty close. And we just did a generic double D shaft with some universal joints on there. And so all the steering column, the steering linkage is a homemade system, basically. And these are 1991 Camaro exhaust manifolds. And I like the way they turned out a lot better. They're a lot more reliable and everything. And it might kill a little bit of horsepower, but not enough to matter. These little spark plug wire holders are just some AutoZone specials. All the brake system came from CPP. Same thing I did on my 57 Bel Air. I ended up making the wiring. So this is from Maven Electronics, I believe it's called. And I just bought a bulkhead connector and got rid of that connector and everything that was there. Made my own wiring harness. So we've got the headlight control module, starting relay, ignition relay, headlight relay. That's another headlight relay. Or no, headlight relay, ignition relay, fan relay. My ground bus bar. So I've got another headlight control module on this side. They're HID and LED light. They work pretty good. One thing I probably should have done is get rid of this blower motor here and just cap that off. They have blower motors that run by, I want to say wire, but it's not electrical wire. It's cable driven and it drives the squirrel cage inside. And you just shave the firewall and get rid of all that. Probably should have done that. We got a little bit of room there, but it's ugly. So same thing, this is a square body Chevy header for the, or exhaust manifold for this side. That ended up working out pretty well. Like I said, everything's really tight in this car, even with this new front end. I ended up Line-Xing, or Raptor lining the entire inside. So now the car's going off to paint and body. We're gonna do all that. Champion radiator, yep, Champion radiator. that worked out really well. Pretty happy with that. No room for a fan on the inside. It's not happening. So I put the pusher fans in it. I put 2 of them. It's been winter time, so it it seems to cool good. We'll see how it does in the summer. 700 R4. So this is the brakes, drilled and slotted. They're part of that corner killer suspension. I wouldn't suggest that corner killer. I think I want to try a Heights on the next project. These are 2014 Dodge Challenger rims. Ended up being able to put I can't remember the size, but pretty tight fit on these things. I think these are a 17. See if I can find it. 225, 45, 18. So these are actually an 18-inch rim. On the back, I put a Ford 8.8 out of a Ford Explorer with 410s, Positrack, and these rims they're a little bit too wide. So I've got air suspension that's jacking it up right now. This car will lower down. As soon as I get a good set of rims and tires, this car will lower all the way down and level out. So it looks a little bit jacked up right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. I've got, let's see, I've got just a little bit of room in there. But as you go down, it doesn't really get along all that well. Did the turn downs, 2.5 inch. Some pretty loud mufflers on there. Had to make my own fuel sending unit. And everything up front. So that rear end worked out really well. We just welded on the original leaf spring bracket straight to that rear end. This build was on a budget, so I didn't want to get too crazy with 4-link and all that stuff. Ended up having to get a new bumper for the front. When I unbolted the bumper, this one just sprung, so it's almost like the car had been wrecked before. Other than that, the rest of the front end's completely original. We'll see how everything turns out after body work. We might end up changing the grille and headlight bezels and stuff. So, what else on this thing? Nothing special. Oh, so what I was going to say is the motor mounts are... So, part of the motor mount on this side is for the control arm. These bolt down to a cross member that comes in the kit. And I didn't have the headers when I built all that stuff. So when you build a car that's this tight, the headers need to be part of the conversation from the start. Like, you need to buy the headers and work around them, have all the parts to mock up. We built everything, and then I went looking for headers, and it didn't work out real well. I was thinking like the 56 Corvette and earlier, I'm not sure when they stopped doing it. They have the motor mounts that come off the front. That would have been interesting. That would have gave me a lot more room for the headers. Yeah, that was kind of a pain in the butt. Kind of everything was a pain in the butt on this car. The motor can only go in one place. So we have the cross member up front. We got the oil pan. So it can only go so low because the rack and pinion, that cross member, it can only go so far forward because that cross member goes right underneath the oil pan. It can only go so far back because the firewall, the distributor, and getting room for that. I mean, the radiator's only got so much room. You need a big radiator since these cars aren't that wide, so you need a 4-core radiator to cool these things. And then that blower motor was kind of limiting us, even though it shouldn't. I mean, we should just get rid of that, and then we'll have a little bit more room there. The transmission only goes so far up in before we've got maybe 3/8 of an inch in the transmission tunnel. I think we did pretty good clearance-wise. Oh yeah, I got everything nice and tucked up in there. About as good as I can get it. About as good as you're gonna get on a small Nova like this. What else we got here? The high-rise manifold, intake and everything. We could have got a lower one, low profile manifold, a little bit skinnier, and maybe shut the hood on this, but the hood was messed up anyways. Had a big dent down the center of that. The hood has a little arch in the center of it. That was dented and everything. So we went with a, for now, we'll see what happens, a hardwood hood scoop. Let me start it before I close the hood. Steering column was all made just kind of a kit, a generic hot rod kit, kind of generic blinker system. The pedals low car. Every build I do, I'm starting to just get a nice low car pedal cable and kick down cable. This car still needs the kick down cable. Changed all the fuse box and everything to a LED lit, so if any fuses go bad, and you can see everything, it's normal fuses. Blinker relay that you can adjust the speed of. Other than that, nothing going on here really. Just the moving this brake down a little bit. It's a little bit, it's about as low as I can get it, but that gives me, so that one up there is non-power brakes, and this hole we made for power brakes. That's a difference there. It changes the ratio, which you have to do for power brakes. Don't like these B&M shifters. They're a pain in the butt, but I kind of understand them for a safety feature. It leaves these little, every time you let it idle, it'll blow the sand out of here. It leaves little circles everywhere I let it idle. All I got for today. Yeah, just wanted to give you guys a walk around of the car, and we'll get started on paint and body. I'll give you guys a walk around after paint and body work is done, and like and subscribe to the channel if you can. We got a bunch of Fast and Furious projects around here. Little Mazda B2000 mini truck. So the next project on the list is that 70 GMC. And we're doing a LT1 old 90s Camaro swap on it, but I'm gonna try the can't remember that fuel injection system, fast, I guess. Try one of those aftermarket fuel injection systems, and it's got a 4L80E. I'm gonna try one of the transmission controllers on it. I've never done that before. I've still got the John Deere skid steer I'm rebuilding the engine to. I got to get on that one of these days. And a couple little projects coming down the line. So like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.